Hi everyone, Joe Adams here, U.S. immigration lawyer based in Los Angeles. Today we're going to meet Dionne Smith. Dionne's originally from London in the United Kingdom, and she's built one of the biggest international hairstyling practices in the world. She has an amazing celebrity clientele. She's self-taught. She started out when she was a young mother, and I can't wait for you to meet her. Dionne, thank you so much for joining us today. You've got an amazing story. You've got an amazing background. And I want to talk to you about what led you to pursuing your ability to work in the United States.
Oh gosh, we're going to go straight in. Okay, so it was a number of things really. I think what led me to, I guess, pursue it was, I mean, I've always loved the idea of the United States. You know, we always want what we don't have. And then I just started to, I work with a lot of like high profile people, like actresses. And then when they're traveling for like, you know, press junkets or premieres, or they're going out and they're, doing those sort of things, it's just nice if I can do it with them. So they'd be like, oh, you know, I wish you could come, you know, we're gonna have to get another glam team because they're so used to me working with them. And then I was like, maybe I should actually look into how I can make this happen. You know, how can I, you know, travel with my client and be that person, like in any state, to be able to get them ready for like special moments like those. And that's what kind of, I guess, pushed me to say, okay, let me look into seeing how I can make that happen.
How did you get started in this career? You know, there are a lot of people who are, you know, say in high school or they're thinking about going to college or a trade school. What led you to this path and to this level of extraordinary achievement?
It kind of just happened organically, to be fair. And it's really strange because I actually didn't want to be a full-time hairstylist initially. I just felt like it weren't going to pay the bills, you know, because it was never that kind of job that, especially at my age, your parents would be like, go and be a hairstylist. It's like, be a lawyer, be a doctor, you know, go and be a politician. Um, but I kind of just naturally fell into it. Like, I've got two younger sisters, and like my dad was like a really old traditional Caribbean man, and it was like, you make sure you do your sister's hair every single week for school. So I started doing them, and then I started doing their friends, and then I started doing the mums, and then the mums and the neighbors, and it just kind of naturally happened.
Yeah.
And then as I got busier and busier, I opened up my first salon, and then I opened up my second salon, and then you know, I learned about the whole other side of hairstyling, which is like session styling and magazine shoots and working with on red carpets. And I was like, oh, I just kind of thought about just being in a salon, and I was like, oh, there's so much more to hair. And then I started dabbling in those areas, and I was like, I actually like this side because you're not in the same place, you're from one place to another. It's just, you know, you're all over the place. And for me, I like the variation of that. And I decided to close my salon down and go completely freelance. And to be honest, I've never looked back. It was the best decision of my life.
Where does that entrepreneurial spirit come from? You know, you said that your folks are pretty traditional Caribbean folks, and you know, being a doctor, being a lawyer, being a pharmacist would be maybe the preferred path. But you went in a completely different direction. Where did that come from? Was there a family member? Was there a friend that said, "Hey, I could do something different"?
Yeah. It's a really strange one because I feel like me and my siblings, all of us kind of ended up in the kind of creative uh like world, so to speak. I actually, and I think this could be maybe one of the factors, but I had my first son when I was quite young and I was still in school. I was very like educated, you know, the teachers were like, oh, you know, we thought you was going to be this, and we thought you was going to be that. And I was the one that let them down. So I didn't actually get to finish like my GCSEs. That's what they call it in London. And it was almost like people were writing me off at a very young age. So I feel like that kind of gave me the fuel to prove them wrong. Like, I can still make it without GCSEs. Okay, I was a young mum, but I'm not gonna like roll over and just accept that my life is over. Like, I can still do something with this, you know, with my life and stuff like that. So I think the fact that everyone was like, like young mom, and oh my God, she's not going to do anything with her life. Oh, she's got a baby at 16. Oh my God. That was like the fuel that for the fire that I needed. And I was like, watch, I'm going to prove you all wrong. And I did.
That's fabulous. You've worked with some of the most high profile people, you know, in the world, especially in the Western world. How do you cultivate those relationships? Why do you think they keep coming back to you? What tips would you give to someone who's looking to maybe build a portfolio of a celebrity clientele?
I would definitely say that I kind of like I do all kind of hair, but I did decide to sort of specialize in one particular area, and I just gave it my all, and I do it to the best of my ability, and anything I touch, I'm a bit of a perfectionist. And that really, like, you know, it comes out well when you're working on someone, because you are a perfectionist, everything is done so perfectly. And I think that because I'm so well organized and so driven, and I just, yeah, everything I do, I take it 100% serious. Like, I put everything into it, even like in terms of preparation, the way I handle my clients. I listen, I observe, I make suggestions. Even if like they come to me with an idea and I feel like it's not something that's going to work or something that's suitable, I'm not just like, it's not going to work. Like, I come with solutions. And my clients just love the way I work. I'm just, yeah, very savvy, very in touch with like what they want, and I'm just fully involved, and I do everything to the best of my ability, because I want my work to stand out. I want people to look at it and be like, wow. Yeah, and it has kind of become a thing. Like, people be like, as soon as I saw that on the carpet, I knew it was your work. Like, people, they know what my work looks like now, and that's, to me, I feel proud of that, you know.
You've got a wonderful social media presence. I'm curious, were you an early adopter to social media or a late adopter? How did you incorporate social media and your social media presence into your business?
It's so strange, because when Instagram first came out and everyone was on it, I was like, I'm not going on it. I'm not going on it. I don't care. I'm not interested. And then I crumbled, like like we all do. And I set up an account, and I kind of was just playing around with it at first, getting, the feel of it and stuff like that. And then I realized that, hold on, this is actually free. I'm not paying for it, and it's a great way to like advertise. And it was a way that like you could connect with people in a way that you couldn't normally outside in the real world without it. It's like you're like a like away from a celebrity. You can jump into their DMs, you can message them, they can actually look at your work, even if you don't know they're looking. So it was like, this is actually a really great platform. So I just used it like to the best of my ability, and I built it, and I was like, anything I put out, it has to be like quality. And I spent years working for free. I done photo shoots, I was building my book. I was just like, I want to be creative, I want to show what I can do, I want to push the boat out, because that's when you really get to be creative in those spaces, outside of a salon, because someone's not going to come to a salon and want those kind of hairstyles. Do you know what I mean? You're just doing the same kind of stuff every day. So I could really express myself through my hair with like these photo shoots, and everything was just really good quality. And that was the feedback I used to get, like, Dionne, like, you put so much work and we can see what you're doing, and everything's so like clean and polished and finished and just done so well. So I think that I've just, yeah, kind of just rolled on with that. And that's how it's gone from one thing to another. And I've built the presence that I have now.
You said something that kind of triggered something in my mind. A lot of young artists, when they're getting started, they'll kind of work like in trades. They'll work in like these collaborations, these unpaid collaborations, where, say, there's a makeup artist, a hairstylist, a model, and a photographer, and maybe like a photo producer, and they're all just kind of working for for their portfolio, for their book. No one's paying them, and they're all just sort of propping each other up. How did you make the transition from doing that kind of project to commanding a salary, commanding a living off of that? Was that challenging for you? Was it easy? How did that come about?
It kind of was challenging, but it kind of wasn't, because although I was doing that session stuff, mine was like, I was still doing hair. So I still had like my regular clients that were coming to me, and I was doing their hair at home. So I took my salon back home, and I would do that to make my money. But then I'd be like, okay, 2 days a week I'm going to dedicate to just building my book, so that I can have enough work to attract the jobs that I want. And then the more you do it, eventually someone comes looking at the door and says, hey, we're doing a photo shoot, we love what you're doing, we'd like some of that, this is the fee. And then you just realize that, oh, I'm starting to get paid for jobs. And then it just is a natural. So I would just say, like, when I initially first started, I used to invest a lot of money in photo shoots. And then I thought, why don't I just do some of these free shoots? Because then I get images, and then I don't have to pay for the model, pay for the makeup artist, pay for the photographer. So it's about being smart as well. So sometimes you can't just look at it as like, oh, I'm not getting paid for this. Look at it as, I'm getting this for free, and it's my time, but it's like an investment. It's like you investing in yourself. And then you get these beautiful images to post, and then that's what's going to attract the clients that you want, that will eventually pay you for what you're doing. And
Sure.
that's how I kind of looked at it.
Sure. And I can imagine that that with your clientele, sometimes there's a lot of pressure and a lot of stress and a lot of high expectations. How do you manage those stress factors? You know, you're a mom, you're a business owner, you've got businesses in several different countries and cities at this point. How do you manage it all?
To be honest, Joe, I mean, I'm spiritual. I just pray. I pray to God. He's like that peace in all of the chaos and all of the doubt, and I just have that little bit of faith that just keeps me ticking over. And that is that's it. That is the answer. There's nothing else, because it is hectic. It's fast paced. Sometimes, even for me, like, because people expect so much from me because I deliver, it's really hard, because you're exceptional, but it's like you have to keep pushing and pushing the boat out every single time, hitting that style, hitting that every single time. And sometimes I'm like, oh my God, how do I top this? How do I? And you do feel that pressure, but I love what I do as well. So it's like, I just enjoy it, to be fair.
That's fabulous. You know, I mentioned you've got a presence in New York, LA, London, Paris. What's next for you?
Oh, I think I'm gonna just continue to build on those areas. Like, I have my own artist agency, which I recently launched, and that's going from strength to strength. So I just kind of want to build on that and like extend that in different ways as well, into like entertainment and different things. But I just want to kind of focus on that one thing. I've done the years of like doing too many things and not getting anywhere because you're just too far stretched. So I just want to keep doing hair and just build on my artist management company and expand that.
I'm going to put a link in the description to all your socials so people can check out your work and reach out to you if they have questions or want to hire you. But as we are about to say goodbye, what advice would you give to your younger self? If you could speak to yourself when you were 10, what would you tell that young person about, you know, what the future holds, and what would you encourage her to do or not do?
I would definitely say do what you love. There's nothing like, it doesn't matter what you're doing. If you're doing what you love, it doesn't feel like work. And I know people say that and it can be a bit cliche and whatever, but it's really true. If you're doing what you love, because you love it, like, you're just doing it and you just enjoy every moment of it. There's nothing worse than being in something that you don't want to do, or you're doing it to please others, or just do what you love and stay focused and just keep pushing, and you'll see light at the end of the tunnel.
I think that's a great place to leave us off on. Dionne, thank you so much for sharing your story and your insight and your passion. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
No worries. Take care.
I hope you enjoyed that interview. We always learn something new from each of these different stories. If you'd like to learn more, I've written a book called Extraordinary Aliens, 12 People Who Pursued Wealth, Fame, and the American Dream. It's available on Amazon, so check it out.